obviously becoming increasingly expensive. Connolly, plenty of time on that occasion, really should have converted.
Short pass in, Malaki. Boss. To the wing. Good long kick. Bit of a nudge by Ick. Back to Moore. Johnson trying to corner him. Moore a bit slow to get rid of it. And not a good kick by Peter Moore. In comes Peake. Good football. And that ball stays in, I think. Peake thought it was out and put on the brakes for a minute. And he wins a free kick, I reckon. No, out of bounds. Throw in eventually.
There was the advantage of tackling, wasn't it, from Johnson? He forced Moore into making an error. The ball's now out of bounds. So,
Melbourne's got two players on the field, I'm sure, are completely fit. One is Ick and the other is Jarrett. Richards on the ground. Richard sends it long downfield. Up goes Jeffries and misses an awkward one. He was in the hands of the trainers too. Jarrett steadies, dodges cleverly, shoots for goal, and with great aplomb puts it right through after being very, very cool, calm and laconic, and limps back to the half-forward front.
Geelong lead by 21 points at the 24-minute mark. Mossop wins. O'Keefe goes down. Bruns goes down. Johnson. Alan Johnson for Melbourne. Good long raking kick. But Malaki a mile in front of Templeton. Marks on his chest. Awkward one for Morgan. Inboard to Boss. Around Connolly. Boss a long left footer to centre half forward. Johnston! Oh, good mark. He could kick as well as he could mark. He'd kick 10 every week.
Yes, he'd be handy, wouldn't he?
Runs off.
It was a beautiful mark, Peter Johnson.
15-metre penalty might help him.
Junior decathlon champion in Tasmania. He's got all the high leaping skills that one loves to see in football. You know what'll help him? His accuracy is the key of his problem. But anyhow, he's working hard at this one. It helps him. They can't go wrong today from Geelong.
They've kicked 7 straight in this quarter. Eventually, Stephen Ick has been replaced, and Reynolds comes onto the ground to take up his spot at centre half back just after Johnson had marked and kicked a goal on Ick. Oh, delightful hand pass out of the middle to Peake. Long kick again, 60 metres. Jackson in the square. Oh, what a mark!
and that was a magnificent mark by Jackson, using all his assets, strength, stability, sheer strength in those arms, holding to his back, and then diving back, judging the fight extraordinary.
Well, Jackson comes in and ran through his second goal, and it's 8 straight for Geelong in this quarter.
Look at him, he's on again.
Do you need to say anything?
I wonder Kelvin Ward retired.
Well, Geelong won a place in the 5 at the expense of Melbourne with a 22-point win. They kicked 8 goals, 1 to 3-5 in the second quarter. At one stage, they led by 47 points in the third quarter. Melbourne fought back to a deficit of only 15 points later in that term, but Geelong steadied to win by 22. For Geelong, Morgan kicked 4 goals. Ablett and Johnson each kicked 3, and Jackson and Turner 3 as well, Jackson 2. And for Melbourne, Templeton kicked 5 and Connolly kicked 2 goals. Melbourne had more scoring shots but lost, and Michael Turner was reported before the game even started. Well, the Melbourne rooms were like an outpatient section of a hospital after the game. They'd gone into the game without Stephen Smith, whose sudden appendix operation last week had cost him a state representation. And against Geelong, the Demons lost senior players Stephen Ick and Alan Jarrett, and again Captain Robbie Flower was counting his injuries after some more physical punishment. When they'd worked overtime to get Peter Moore on the field, and he pulled up sore. But one player who did see out the game all right was Brian Wilson, the Brownlow medalist of 1982, who played his first game for the year after breaking his arm in the last practice game. I asked him how he felt after just one reserves game and one social game prior to this.
No problem at all. Quite good, actually.
It was just one of those games where I don't think you got too many kicks, but your opponent didn't either. It just didn't seem to come to you too much.
No, I played mainly in the forward pocket, and it just didn't seem to come down there at all today. It was a bit unfortunate because I was very eager to do well, but that's the way things go. The ball just didn't follow me, or just didn't come near the goals.
You totally over the trouble with the arm?
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Well, if you've pulled up all right today, you'd be one of the few in this room
Yeah, well, that's right. We lost a couple of guys early in the game, which certainly didn't help. But Stephen Ick and Alan Jarrett, and that put a real hole in the back line, and we had to really fight back. And it's credit to the guys if they did fight back. But if we could have played that way for 4 quarters, it's certainly a little bit of different story.
Just a little bit about your comeback into the game. Did you expect to play again in '84?
I always hoped that I would. I set myself for the last 6 games, and it's come up pretty well, actually. I'm very pleased.
It's a bit of an unusual preparation, a marriage and a bit of a honeymoon in Hawaii.
Yeah, you
I
could
suppose
say.
most league players would like to do that.
Well, if they could get away, but I'd rather swap places. The broken arm is needing to, certainly help, that's for sure.
Well, are you excited about Melbourne's prospects even after today's disappointment?
Oh yes, the boys. It's a credit to the guys. They're absolutely fantastic. It's a different club to before I went away. Actually, it's fantastic. The atmosphere of the players, and hopefully, I'll be able to play in successful sides from now on in.